this live session. We are in conversation with my dear friend whom I have been known since long time, and today we are connecting with him. We are going to speak with him about this one beautiful topic about which I am lot passionate, and the topic is leadership. Today's conversation subject is lead your ship, and we are in conversation with none other than Mayur Kalbag. And the reason being we are in conversation with him is this wonderful book which he has written. This is his first book, and dear friends, let me tell you, this is Mayur Kalbag's first book, and he has won the Best Book Award in the Indian Literary Festival. And now this book has been nominated for International Award also. So, dear friends, we are in conversation with Mayur Kalbag. Mayur, welcome you,
Thank you.
and I would like to introduce you to my friends. Mayur Kalbag is basically a motivational speaker, leadership coach, and a psychology expert. He does all national and international conferences, and he's a very passionate poet. He has written a lot of poems and prose, and one of the best was Smile at Stress. I believe you have written it long back, and it has made a
Yes.
lot of noise in the social media. That is Smile at Stress. And now he has come up with this book, Purna, The Adventures of Purna, and it has been awarded as the best book in the Indian Literary Festival. So we are uh, pleased to have you with us, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity and your valuable time. So
Thank you.
let us straight away dive into our today's interview, and the mic is all yours.
Well, thank you so much. This is very interesting, very exciting, very inspiring to me. Mahesh,
Yes.
I have been in touch with you, not so often, but I have. And one thing I've always seen about you is your enthusiasm, which gets reflected in the tone with which you speak. So here I am, and this is a great opportunity for the both of us to explore the topic which is going to be today's topic, which is lead your ship, leadership.
Yes.
This came into existence, this particular word, only because I feel that metaphorically speaking, we are always leading. Either we are leading people, or we are leading ourselves. Whatever the profiles, a teacher leads the students towards understanding something by which they grow. A professional leads his team, and an enlightened yogi leads himself towards self-realization. Well, I want to kickstart today's wonderful interaction by firstly telling you that probably you're more excited than I am, but I'm absolutely excited about what you held in your hand, which I'm yet to have in my hand. I was telling you earlier, I haven't still got my own copy, but you have. So this is the book, right, Purna?
Yes.
So
Yes. Purna.
if the viewers are wondering, कि अरे ये पुस्तक किधर है? So I guess you have the book and I have just the copy of it, the look of it. My books are coming in. It looks wonderful. I still, it's my baby which I'm waiting to hold. Uh, I want to, initiate this interaction by reading to you a poem that I have written with the blessings of my guru. It's from my second book of poetry called The Rising Waterfall, and
Wow.
it's got poems on management subjects. So I
Okay.
have written a poem on leadership,
Okay.
because today's topic is that,
Yeah.
but the specific topic is the leader's mind. So if
Okay.
you allow me, I would like to share this poem with you and all the viewers.
Yeah. Please.
And
Please.
it goes like this.
Yes.
The leader's mind.
Okay.
Different, dynamic, and developmental must be the leader's mind. New paths, new journeys to success he must constantly find. Environments of stress and anxiety may weaken his will, yet through turbulent times he must be sublime and still. His shallow dreams must evolve into fearless foresight. His wings must widen to let him take the higher flight. New horizons and ideas, the leader's mind must enthusiastically explore, preserve, and persevere, he must, to steer his ship into a new and a vibrant shore. Alert and aware, he must be constantly to the changes of the changes around. Let me say this once again. Alert and aware, he constantly must be to the changes around. Listen carefully, he must, to the harmless yet meaningful sound. Signs of crisis and chaos, this leader's mind must quickly recognize. Solutions to the most difficult situations, he must clearly visualize. Emotions of concern and empathy, the leader must exhibit towards his team. Within each of his colleagues, awaken he must an inspiring dream. Respect, he will command and not demand, only when he begins to share. Exuberance and excitement he will restore in his as he learns to rejuvenate the stagnant air. The final verse. Situations of success at times may disappear or deflate. The real leader is he who restarts his journey upon a clean slate. Reignite and refresh, the leader must his muffled and muddled mind. I'll say it once again. Reignite and refresh, the leader must his muffled and muddled mind. An important responsibility his is to never be left behind. And the actual final verse, the leader's mind, therefore, is not an ordinary mind. He enlightens his visions as the dreams of others may go blind. With grit and determination, the leader gallops towards his eventual goal. Let us too invoke the leader's mind in our thoughts and in our soul. In our thoughts and in our soul. Thank you very much. So
Wow,
this is
that
just,
that is awesome. That is really really awesome, and I really loved the way you rolled it out.
thank
It
you. Thank you.
really connects. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
that. Thank you so much.
I thought let's begin, leading our ship of this workshop or this session, leading our
Yes,
session with the help of a poem, which is very close to me because the mind is where it all starts, isn't it?
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
so सोच पहले उसके बाद आता है action. So
Yes,
if we think, the way we think is what defines our thought. You know. To just take it a little forward and then you can probably come in with your points. I remember in our earlier discussion, you were asking me about what could be the values or what are the qualities which could shape up a leader, isn't it?
yes.
I mean,
This is my
what
first
could be the,
question to you today.
sure. I think for me as a budding leader, like all of us, we are swimming in the ocean towards reaching the shore of success and trying to lead. A few points and qualities which I want to share, and I look forward to your points as well. I call it the picnic. Okay, it's an acronym, it's a short form, and all the alphabets of the picnic are very interesting, at the same time those which are practical to help us becoming better. It starts with passion,
Yes,
the P of the
definitely.
picnic. Then comes inspiration, to feel motivated enough to do something. Passion is an inner feeling, that the drive, but then it has to be converted into something where you take the initiative, and that initiative to be taken, you need to be inspired. So the P is the passion, the I is the inspiration, C is conviction, the belief, the purpose, the clarity of goal. A leader without conviction could be a very good looking, a well talkative, communicative guru,
Right.
or a leader or a teacher. But without conviction, I think he will not be able to lead others. Even to inspire somebody else, you need to have the conviction. So P is passion, I, inspiration, C, conviction, N, nurturing. A leader must be able to not just look at himself and say, I'm a good leader. He should be able to also guide, mentor. And the word that I'm saying right now is nurture. Just like a gardener nurtures a seed into a sapling, into a plant and a tree.
Yes.
Similarly, a leader should have the quality and the ability to nurture a young person in the team and let that person grow and grow along with him or her, the nurturing part. Then I would say that a leader should have the attitude of innovation, the I. So passion, inspiration, conviction, nurturing. Then the I is innovate. And when I say innovate, thinking not just outside the box, but above the box, to think differently, to be a person who takes the courage to come up with ideas, even if there are possibilities of failure. A person who innovates is a person who actually can take the team far ahead. And finally, that which is happening right now, communication. Because just imagine if there is no communication, even this particular session will fall flat on its face. So, today what we say is important. How we say is very
More
important.
important.
So,
Yes.
this, for me, there are many other qualities, Mahesh, but the picnic has been to me, and these are not qualities I have just created. These are qualities I have seen in so many entities around the world. One of the people who inspires me is our guru, Swami Sadyojat Shankarashram.
Yes.
And there are
Yes.
other
Yes.
enlightened entities like Swami Vivekananda. And I have seen the implementation of all these qualities by such enlightened yogis. And I believe that as youngsters or young at hearts, as we join a profession, it's very important, I think, to awaken the picnic within us.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that. It is really, really valuable information. And I completely agree with you when you mentioned Swami Vivekananda and our beloved Guruji, Swami Satyajat Shankarashram Swamiji. And I believe Swami Vivekananda was the one who actually introduced the concept of being spiritualist when it comes to leadership. So I really, really follow him, and every time I conduct any sessions with any kind of group or individuals, I see Twitter that I actually mention him in my talk. So thank you so much
Absolutely.
for speaking out about Swami
There are
Vivekananda. Thank you so much.
Before you go to your next question for me, I want to say two quotations, one from Swami Vivekananda and the other from our Guru Swami Satyojat Shankarashram.
Yes,
These are very
please.
powerful quotations. And quotations need not be long and short. It's the power within them that
Yes, yes.
excites and
I agree.
inspires us.
I agree.
So
I
from
agree.
Swami Vivekananda said something very beautiful, and it stuck with me, is education is not how much you know, it is how well you know.
Yes. Yes.
And it's so much pregnant with depth and meaning that it's not about how many books you read, it's about how much you read in one book and make the best of it. Depth is more important than width. Or you can be wide and you can go everywhere, but going deeper, becoming stronger, it's like becoming a master of one, and maybe then you can become a jack of all. So go deep is what I really learned at a very nascent age, when I was probably around 16, 17 years old, when my father was reading the book Jnana Yoga and stuff, and I was just sort of reading a few lines, but this particular quotation struck me. And the second one of Swami Satyojat Shankarashram is recognize and respond. That's it.
This is
Recognize
powerful.
and respond. It's very powerful. And this I heard, where? During the Patabhisheka in 1997, when I just went, because I saw Swamiji's picture. When I was in Mumbai, I fell in love with the Guru. I took leave from my office. I went but when Swamiji was getting ordained
Yeah.
into our mutt, and those are the words Swamiji uttered. And it vibrates me with excitement when I even today think about it. It has its application everywhere. For a leader, he or she should be able to recognize an opportunity and respond, recognize a possibility of failure maybe and respond. So these two words have been very powerful, and these two entities, I think, have always been wonderfully helping me towards growing as a leader myself. Yes.
This is super stuff. This is superb stuff. And when you say that you should go deep, I really, really resonate with you. And I would want to share this with my viewers that going deep is actually sensible. You know why? Because there is ocean, and ocean is huge. Ocean is full of water, and you cannot drink that water, right? So if you see the reality, you can drink the water only from the well. So you don't need to have a lot of knowledge. You need to have the right knowledge, and education is really, really important. But what do you do with that education so that others can use you as a medium to grow? So this is what
Absolutely.
is very important. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this question. Thank you.
And this is what I want to show you. If one were to want to be an effective leader, This
Yeah.
is a metaphor, an example.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
if you look at it, it's just something that looks like a metal piece. Of course, it
Yes.
looks like an instrument, but it can be turned into this, all right, into this, into this, into this, into this, and then there's so much we can do. Like, let me show you,
This looks like a
like
transformer.
this. It is. And in fact, in the word transformer lies the answer: transformation.
Yes.
A leader who is open and flexible to change. You know, we say that a leader should change and adapt. It's a very powerful mantra. A leader who is not flexible, a leader who is not like a very pleasant rubber band, who can get stretched, not so much that he breaks, but who has the tenacity to stretch. And for somebody who can transform. For me, this is not only transformation, Mahesh, this also is multi-talented, being multitasking, having different things that he can do, being a master of a couple of things, but at the same time, having talents to do other things as well. Today, a leader should not just conform himself to only the fact that I can only do this. I'm an excellent leader because I'm brilliant in accounting. No, that's not enough. You got to also know what's innovation. You got to know a little bit about production. You got to know a little bit about everything,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that shapes you up. For me, this is one function. You can use it as a knife, you can cut pipe with this. So much can you do. I just
Yes.
wanted to bring this because sometimes you say 1,000 words, but probably in 50 words to describe this, the meaning is the same. So
Yes.
just wanted to share this with you and put across my point.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is probably the best way to explain anything to anybody. Thank you so much for that. So my next
I think
question to you is, how do you
yes.
see creativity in leadership?
I would like to respond by saying the following. Creativity is just a second. Let me just yeah. Creativity is really not a technique. Creativity is not something that you learn from a book.
Okay.
Creativity resides within us. Every form of existence has the ability to do something different. A spider, which I always talk about, has the creativity to convert his web into a trap. So he's done something different with the same thing. So for me, uh, when I look at leadership, Mahesh, I believe that in today's world, we must not use yesterday's methods to be in
Very true.
tomorrow's
Very true.
business.
Yeah, very true.
Otherwise, we end up becoming stagnant. We cannot today look at what is Facebook. 20 years back, there wasn't Facebook.
Yeah.
We were doing things in a normal way. What are mobile phones? These are examples of somebody thinking differently. So a leader must be, in today's world, creative enough to have the courage to think how I can do the same thing in a different way, how I can communicate in a different way. Questioning is very important, extremely important. You can't just take everything lying down. So a leader who questions, can I follow this in a way which is slightly different because it gets better results, it increases profits. So for example, advertising, can I do advertising in a different way? You know, people think advertising is the only place where leaders must be creative. No, even when you are thinking about accounting, maybe production, you take any function of an organization, the requirement for innovative thinking is very, very crucial and critical. So today I feel, Mahesh, that leaders therefore must be out of box thinkers, because ideas are what will take him, his team, his department, his functional aspect and the organization forward.
Yes.
Today, without ideas, we stagnate. But with ideas, we fly.
Yeah, yeah. So I personally believe that we need actually, to work on ourselves to bring whatever creativity we have inside, because we are in an era where in last 100 years what technological developments we have seen, the same amount of technological developments we have seen in last 10 years. So
Yep,
artificial intelligence, robotics, and lot of things are coming up, and these things can
absolutely.
do things better than us. So what is
Yes.
that one thing that which we as humans can do that robots cannot do? That is creativity according to me. And
Absolutely.
thank you so much for putting it so clearly. Ladies and gentlemen,
Just
let me
one,
tell you. Yeah, please tell me.
just one thing, because we are on creativity, just let me say, and then you can move forward. Remember that one of the things that I always try and share with my Guru's grace, I get opportunities to share, is how to be creative. See, understanding that creativity is important is good, but how can I be creative? Like I earlier said, you can't learn it. It's not a poem that you learn. It's not a mechanical aspect that you learn. It's about your mind. So the simple thing I want to share with my viewers, with our viewers, is the best way to be creative is start doing something creative. Challenge your imaginative mind. Start writing something creative. Start sketching something different. Start questioning something that is ordinary. And you'll find, the catch phrase here is stretch your imagination. Stretch
Yes.
it.
Mm.
When you stretch your muscles, you start building muscles. When you
Yes.
stretch your mind, you start building creativity. And how can you stretch it? By challenging it. How do you challenge it? By doing things which are challenging.
Yes. Thank you
So
so
this
much.
is what I want to share.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is a $1 million tip from an international leadership consultant. Take this from me. If you implement these things in your life, it can bring a huge shift in your life and you can change the way you look at things. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, next we move on to my next question. And my question is, how can
Mhm.
an ordinary person transform into personality? How can a person transform from person to personality?
Okay, I'll make it very concise because it's a brilliant question with
Thank
a
you so
very
much.
concise answer. Why is it brilliant? I'll tell you. Because I don't like to shower adjectives for the sake of it. I find it brilliant because I find it very practical today. That today people who are in their college, who are about to get into a job, they have dreams, they have goals, and for me, the goal itself is the transition from being a person towards becoming a personality where he achieves success. So I would like to answer in a concise way. And I want to say this. Um, a person has all the potential to recognize, awaken, and bring out certain strengths that are already there within him or her. So, the first thing I would say that converts a person from a person to a personality is, I call it a very simple SWOT analysis. The
Yes.
first step is first look at what you are existing. Many people have a complex. They underestimate themselves because they're not aware of the existing strengths that they have. So for example, what are your strong points? What are the areas you call weaknesses, but I call them improvement areas? What are the future opportunities that you can look at to grow and grab and accomplish? And what could be the possible threats or barriers that can come? If you want to go from person to personality, understand who you are. Write down on a piece of paper your strong points, your weak points, in bracket improvement areas, opportunities that you see, because without opportunities, how will you grow? If a person is very good at something but he doesn't grab an opportunity which will help him to implement his strong points, he will not grow, he'll stick where he is. So to grow to a personality, opportunities and possible barriers that may come, internal or external. Along with this, I also believe mind management is important, because when barriers come, it creates stress, and stress can become a big nail to puncture the tire of personality.
It's very true,
so
very
it-
true.
so sometimes a comment while I'm doing something good, a comment like, for example, somebody may say your book isn't good. I'm not happy. Maybe the person has not even read the book, but he's saying it because he feels it's not good. If I let that puncture my motivation, it may affect my marketing and promotion of my book. It may affect my own belief in my book, and that can make me and make me stay where I am, because I won't move
Yes.
forward because something has affected me. I believe that understanding who you are, working on your weaknesses, will help you to protect yourself from any nail that may come in the form of a criticism. Criticism is good, Mahesh, as
Mm.
long as it is backed up with justification. If somebody said a book isn't good but explains where I can improve, I'll actually say thank you. So I believe that to be a personality, we must also be able to make our mind very strong so that it doesn't get affected by things that can create stress, because stress can slow down our progress. I wanted to be concise, but I think my definition of concise I need to work on. But honest to God, I just shared what I felt about how a person can go from person to personality. SWOT analysis is the first step. After that, managing your stress and managing your mind is the second step. There are other things, but I think I'll leave it for all that for later. This is what I want to share.
Yes, thank you so much. Recently, I was actually watching a YouTube video, and it was Steve Jobs. I was watching a video of Steve Jobs where he says, "You have limited time, so don't waste your time bashing around the walls. Stay hungry, stay foolish." So
That's powerful.
yeah, I believe so. If you are too serious about life, then
Yeah.
maybe the journey of transformation will delay. So I believe in staying like that. What Steve Jobs has said, and thank you so much for giving your valuable inputs. I've really noted this down. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. I want to just add one, if you don't mind. I was at my village, our place, Shirali Mutt, where
Exactly.
our mutt is. And before I got married and before I got into my work, I used to go very frequently, and I used to enjoy just being in the presence of the divine entities there. And Swamiji sometimes used to give an audience to us. I remember one of the occasions I was sitting, and I used to write poems a lot at that point, sitting on the steps of the nice lake there,
Yeah.
um, and there was one occasion where I was listening to the pravachal, you call it, right? The
Yes.
sermon by Swamiji, and I was thinking, and one thought came to my mind. I wrote it down, and I want to share it with you, Mahesh, and
Please,
hopefully
please.
the viewers will also. And this is what came from my heart, and I just feel like sharing it. And it goes like this: I would rather swim in the depths. I would rather swim
Mhm.
in the. Wait, let me rephrase it. I would rather swim in the shallows of a deep ocean. Yes, I would rather swim in the shallows of a deep ocean rather than the depths of a shallow river.
Mm.
I know it's even I'm thinking because I just got this thought. I wanted to share it. I would rather swim in the depths of a shallow ocean
Okay.
rather than the shallows of a deep river. I hope I'm saying it right, but what I got to know is that sometimes we are very happy in the comfort zone. We are
Yes.
very happy to be where we are. We don't want to go to the deep end of the ocean. We don't feel comfortable to take that risk. So even for a leader, to be able to take the risk and go somewhere where it's uncharted territory is also very important. I hope my proverb was good because was well rolled out, as you say, but it just came from my heart. So pardon me if I mixed up a little bit.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Thank you so much for this. And my last question to you on today's session would be: how would you, see adversity quotient in life, and how this adversity quotient plays a role in leadership in somebody's life?
It's a very honest question because you know they say that where there's a rise, there's a fall as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Where there's a fall, there's a rise. So somebody said to me about a person's state of affairs because he was going through a lot of tough times, and we were discussing, and we said that at that point of time, the only place he can go is up because he's so much at the bottom, and we need to help him out. So adversity, uh, situations which are difficult, are very much part of a leader's journey. In fact, it's a part of every human being's journey. In fact, it's a part of the journey of every form of existence, isn't it? But for us as leaders, since this session is on leadership, I think your attitude will make the difference. There are people who look at the half glass as half full and not half empty, but there are leaders who look at the glass as totally full, half air and half water. So, how you look at a situation, how you perceive a situation, how can you look at a failure as an opportunity to learn something from it is also a way of handling adversity. Remember, when I say this, it is not something amazing that every time there's a failure, people will be dancing around saying, oh, we can learn. No, it will affect us. But is it logical a leader should think? Is it logical to cry all the time over spilt milk? When the glass breaks, the milk is on the floor. You keep crying all the time? No. that's a, you know, metaphorically it's an adverse situation where something happens against your expectations. Getting affected is fine, but letting that be with you, that feeling that, oh my god, I failed all the time, will demotivate you and your team as well. So best way, you know, the best way to fight fear is you face it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
learn from mistakes and failures is one of the ways of fighting adversities, but not running away and not denying adversities is also very important. Sometimes it's good to accept that I am in a, you know, this has happened. We need to get out of it. Today with COVID crisis, there will be certain adversities coming out. There will be difficulties people will face. It's about not running away. It's about facing it, you know.
Yes.
And I think that's the way I want to respond to your final question. I'm looking forward to many more sessions with you, Mahesh.
Yeah.
But for now, thank you very much.
Yeah. This is
But
part
this
one. We
is
have a part two also about
I
our
know, I
meditation.
know. But this is something I'm very excited. I want to definitely. I'm very happy that you were one of the first few to grab the copy. So thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much. It's an
I do.
honor.
Do look forward to your honest review once
Okay.
you finish the book. But I'm sure you'll enjoy the journey with Purna. Remember,
Yes.
this has come to me after my visit to Kailash Mansarovar with our Guru Swami Sadyojata Shankar Ashram. And it's taken me almost 1.5 to 2 years to just write this book. So I'm extremely excited. And I look forward to all of you, you know, participating in the journey with Purna. So thanks from my side.
Yes, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Purna for you, and this is the best book of 2020. And you need to invest on this book because somewhere this will relate to the journey of life that you are doing, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this session. This is the part one. Hopefully, we'll be coming up with part two very soon. So, before going, I would request my beloved friend Mayuk Kalbag to give us a message, leave the audience with a message.
Definitely. Um, well, I can say that, you know, again, I'm sorry for the quotation, but I have to put this quotation out because it's inspiring to me and it comes, I want to put it out as a message. It says that what matters is not the boxer inside the fight. What matters is not the boxer inside the fight, but the fight inside the boxer.
Wow.
And here the fight is determination. You know, they say a great boxer is the one who doesn't fear getting knocked down, but who has the courage to stand up.
Very true.
And I think that's probably what many of us, you know, as leaders, we have to be, you know, having that kind of attitude. I want to finally just say a Sanskrit chant as my way of, saying thank you to you, Mahesh, for creating this opportunity to share my thoughts and for introducing my book to your audience. I just want to say 2 lines. Can I do that?
Yeah,
As
please
a
go
way of
ahead.
goes like this. Om Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sputataraya Samvidujrum Ya Brahmadi Pipili Kantutanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini Saivahang Chadrishabasthita Dhridat Pradnyapi Yasyasti Chet Chandalostu Satut Dvijostu Gururit Yesha Manisha Mama Om Namah Parvati Pataye
Har
Hara
Har
Hara
Har
Mahadev Om
Mahadev.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Shri Bhavani Shankaraya Namaha.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.